Welcome back to the Hermitcraft FTB server. Things have been going pretty well in certain respects. Like, for example, force nuggets. I have 12,938 force nuggets. I think that's a pretty good amount. Over here to coal, 8,000. I've got 7,000 redstone. And let's see. Oh, gee, I have 55,371 force logs. I think maybe I don't need any more for a while. 13,000 force saplings. That's pretty cool. So it seems to me that this would be a good time to change the production of that tree farm up there to produce something else, for a while anyway. So I'm going to set down a couple of new deep storage units. And let's see, logistics chassis. A couple of provider pipes. And on the chassis pipes, we'll put item sync module. We'll set this one to look for oak saplings. Put one on here. And we'll set that to look for oak wood. Okay, that takes care of that. Oh, by the way, for those that have advised me that I should have a golden bag of holding, I do. I've had it for a while, and I keep a number of odds and ends in it that I may need at some point. Oh, there's a provider module. How about that? So it's a very handy thing. It's kind of like a double chest that you can carry with you. That's pretty good. Alright, so these guys are set up, and that's all they need. And by the way, I've found out that the first 64 of whatever you put in, the first stack that shows up here, doesn't count for the number of them that are stored. So like 8,277 carrots doesn't count this 64 of them. So if I pull that out, that number goes down, and so on. And I can't demonstrate it accurately because, well, I can in a way. All right, let's take a couple of stacks of cotton. And if I put a stack of cotton in here, it doesn't. You see, it counted up and then it fed into the output. Now, if I put a second stack in there, it's going to show one stack available because the other stack is already primed in the output. And so that takes care of that little mystery. Alright, the other part of switching the tree farm over to producing oak wood instead of force logs is to just go in here and clear those out, put in oak saplings. Now granted, it'll only try to keep one oak sapling in this inventory, and that's actually fine. The way that's going to work is the force saplings that are in there will be used up, and then when they're gone, it will start putting force sapling or oak saplings in there as soon as there's room in this inventory, and the farm will gradually switch over to growing oak instead of force. And that'll take care of itself, and then I can go ahead and adjust that pipe to keep a full 6 stacks of oak saplings in there later on when I actually have 6 stacks of oak saplings. Alright, so that takes care of that. There was something else I wanted to check out and do. You may have noticed I have 61 levels of experience. This is rather a lot to be carrying around. So, actually, yeah, I want to do something about that. And that's going to mean this, the advanced enchantment table. I've read a little bit about this thing, and I like the sound of it. Enchantment table, a couple of obsidian Eye of Ender, Book and Quill, and some gold. So that sounds easy enough. Let's go ahead and just get a few things together and of the supply here. Let's see, we need 4 gold. Ender Pearl. There's no Ender Pearl? Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, I can make some Ender Pearls. All I need is this thing and some iron. Alright. And okay, I'll need some obsidian as well. Okay. Not a problem. No, I didn't want 1 oak wood. Good night. I wanted a stack. That's more like it. Okay. First up, some obsidian. There we go. Use the Minium Stone's built-in crafting table for that. There's some Ender Pearls. A couple diamonds and another book. Alright. Go ahead and put this stuff together. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I gotta get the book and quill. Yeah, I need some blaze powder. I just happen to have 1 right there. Blaze powder, Ender Pearl. Okay. Should be able to throw this together now. Well, it would help if I had the crafting table selected. There we go. Advanced enchantment table. Now, I heard a little bit about this, and strangely enough, some people seem to think it's kind of cheaty. I don't think so. Alright, let's see. I don't know what E and R does on this thing. Let's see. Alright, let's get a more ordinary sword. Okay, we'll make one. Here's a bow. Try that. Okay, ENR, enchant or repair. I got that. All right. So if I want infinity on that thing, infinity 1, not enough bookcases. Oh, well, I've got bookcases. Let's throw some bookcases down. As a matter of fact, let's move this thing to where there's a little more room. I believe this should be downstairs. And we'll just pop this thing down here. Well, maybe better off there. And we'll just build the bookcase wall around it like you would for any normal enchantment table. And yes, I'm going with the 2-layer design, if nothing else, because I like it. And also because when this says something about 22 bookcases required, I have a feeling it meant it. Alright, now, pop the bow in here. And let's drag this over for infinity. Flame. Power 5. Enchanting costs 38 levels, max enchantment level 72 with the books that I've got there. And let's throw on Unbreaking 3. This is the kind of interface that I really think that vanilla should have had for enchanting to begin with. I have no idea what Ashes is. But this is it. Right there. Unbreaking, Power 5, Flame, Infinity. There is the ultimate bow. Let's go ahead and hit E, and that will probably enchant the thing. Bingo. There is my super bow, which, by the way, I actually have one of these in vanilla. I'm not sure if it's got Unbreaking 3 or not, but it definitely has Infinity, Flame, and Power 5. I spent a lot of time in my Ender farm in the end trying to get that thing too. So this is pretty cool. This is what I consider to be what vanilla enchanting should have been to begin with. Really. And so at some point real soon I'm going to have to find a spot or make a spot to set this thing up on a more permanent basis. I'm not going to leave it down here right now because it's in the middle of everything, and that's not good. But definitely going to find a place, find a home for this thing and get it set up on a more permanent basis. In the meantime, it'll be up there. Alright, next up, let's get started with some bee action. But before I take off to the bee age and start doing that, there is something I have to correct myself on. When I set this item tesseract down here, that was a mistake. And it caused a mystery that I am ashamed to admit cost me several hours of trying to figure it out and wondering what the heck was going on. You see, over here in the default route chest, okay, to get things in the right order, at some point I found some flour in the input chest. I stuck it in the default chest. I didn't really think much about it at all. I figured it was some strange drop that came from something I don't know, whatever. I have no idea, really. I was busy with something else, and I just stuck that out of the way. And then sometime later I was looking for something, and in the default chest I found 30 stacks of flour. 30 stacks. That's a lot of flour. And I then spent the next several hours trying to figure out where all that flour was coming from. You know, I was beginning to think maybe the golems up there were trolling me or something. You know, because there was wheat coming in. You know, I asked around, and several people said, well, flour is something that you could get from barley that grows naturally, but there's no barley growing around here. Or in the bee age, where I've got 3 more farms set up. Nothing like that. It took all kinds of trying to figure this out. I spent at least 2 hours watching the golems here and in the bee age and so on, and I didn't have a freaking clue. And then, along the way, I guess I got a little bit of a curiosity. I started looking up where you get flour. Where does it come from? And one of the things it comes from is when wheat goes into a macerator. And then after another hour or so, it finally, well, I don't know if it actually was an hour, but it felt like it. It was long enough to make me feel totally embarrassed for not having figured this out myself much sooner. But I realized the item tesseract was touching the macerator when I placed it down. That means the way piping works by default, unless there is something that is directing things to a particular destination, when it comes out of a pipe, or in this case a tesseract, items have a random chance of going in one of however many possible directions there are. In this case, 2. One direction was the macerator, since it would accept wheat, but it wouldn't accept seeds. And the other direction was that pipe where I wanted it to go. So, basically, based on random chance, about half of the wheat that was coming through that tesseract, instead of going into deep storage, was going into this macerator and getting ground into flour and ending up over here in a barrel, or well, in a chest. I later, after I finally figured the mess out, cleaned it up, stopped it from happening, I moved all the wheat to a barrel, and I took the barrel over here onto the more populated area of spawn, or well, across the water for me anyway, where Jasassin and DMAC and Biff are set up. And I set this barrel down here with over 31 stacks, almost 32 stacks of flour. Free flour. I accidentally made too much. So, if anybody needs flour for anything, I do know that if you put it into a furnace, you'll bake it into bread, but who needs 32 stacks of bread? I mean, really. Anyway, that mystery finally having been solved, let's get with the bees. So here we are in the bee age, and as you can see, the farming here has been expanded. There's 3 of them now, each with a set of golems handling harvesting and collecting of goods and so on. And I walled it off in a 2-high glass wall to keep the local cattle out of it. Although I did notice a mistake that I made, in that right here this stuff is 1 high, and cows can jump onto it and go up onto here and get onto the glass and end up inside the farm trampling the crops. So just go ahead and get a little more glass. There we go. And I'm just going to make part of this wall a bit taller, just because I want to keep the local wildlife out of the farm. There. That should take care of that. Let's go dump that there for now. Now, to the bees. Okay, I've already got those. I've got, this is the bees that I have so far. Over here is the vanilla varieties. There's Modest. I believe they grow in a desert. Wintry, they want a cold area. Rocky, Valiant, and Meadows. Over here, we have Mystical, Sorceress, Infernal, and Oblivion. So that's what we have to start with for frames. For bee breeds, excuse me. So that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if they will all breed in this particular climate, which I'm betting that the Winteries at the very least will not. So let's go ahead and get some apiaries. Because as I said, in all of my searches, I never did find any villages or apiaries, villages with a beekeeper villager or anything. Missing 10 impregnated. Oh, I forgot to deliver these to the system. Alright, not a problem. I suppose I could have fixed that a whole lot easier by just dumping it into one of the chests that the... Yeah. Okay, pardon me for being a little bit backwards and going around in circles here, but I do figure things out eventually, I promise you. All I have to do is drop it in there, and the system will take care of putting it where it needs to go, so that it will be available. For making 10 apiaries. I know they went into the system. But they're not available. Now we have to do some diagnostics to figure out what the heck is going on. Where did they land? Caught on that blasted hat stand. That's going to happen 1 or 2 more times, and I'm going to find another place for them to be. Like out in the ocean somewhere. Oh, that's another thing. I stopped my netherwort production. I think I have enough. Impregnated casing. Well, I dropped that other 64 of them into the input chest. Into the sorting thing. They should have landed here. Or better yet, back there where I had one. Alright. I'm going to take a few minutes to figure out where those things landed, and I'll be back. Alright. This is my turn to fill them. Took them out of here and was going to drop them into the system, but I neglected to tell the thing not to keep them stocked, and so of course they went right back there. And so I'm going to do this again. They'll get sent into the system, and I'll finally be able to get these apiaries. $10, please. Request successful. How about that? And here they come. 10 apiaries. Alright. Now, let's see. Where's my borders? Alright, I'm just going to start right here. I'm going to put them down, and I'm going to put a space between them for now, because initially at least I expect to have to be dealing with these guys manually. I don't even know if most of these are going to breed in this climate, but I'm pretty sure that these guys won't, which is why I'm trying them first. Okay. Yeah, hostile environment. They're going to want a higher temperature and a drier climate. Alright, put the wintry in here, and they're going to want a colder temperature. I betcha. Yeah. Alright, not a problem. We'll just set these guys in here as somebody to be worked with after we can adjust their climate. Okay, the Rockies I know will work, as will the Valiant and the Meadows. I'm certain they'll work because this is their kind of place. And this will get me going with some initial production. What are you yapping about? Oh. Alright, that will start that. Now let's try some of these guys. Mystical, Sorceress, and Infernal. Why do I think Infernal is going to want to be in the Nether? Let's see what we get with the Mysticals. They seem to be happy in this climate. Okay. Sorceress. Hostile environment. Which means I'm going to need to get a Bealizer together to start analyzing these guys to figure out what kind of place they want to be in. Alright, Infernal. I'll bet you dollars to donuts they turn out to be not liking this area either. Yeah. And Oblivion. They probably want the end or something like that. What do you bet? Whoa. What the heck? Okay, that started as soon as these guys went to work. Pull them out. Pull them out. Okay, I'm going to need some kind of effect cancellation for these guys. That gave me 3 hearts of damage real fast, and I'm not interested in that. These guys don't have the right kind of flower, so we'll just leave them. They're not doing anything. These guys don't have rock. Oh, that's right. Rocky wants rock, so there. They're happy. The rest of these, let's bring some flowers a little bit closer. Alright, they're starting to work. This will start getting some population going, and I will have to get some automation going next time out. And I'll be getting all of my stuff together and going from here to get some initial automation going so that the apiaries will recycle and so on. And Logistics Pipes has some good stuff working for that I'm going to have to try out. There is assorted pipes in Logistics Pipes that are made specifically for dealing with bees. So we'll be checking that stuff out next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.